Well, hello guys, this is your girl Diva Fashionista bringing you a very serious video. Maybe you notice, or if you haven't noticed, if you are a subscriber, that I haven't been posting. Yeah, like I just have not been in the mood. I've been in a funk, and it started from this incident. And I definitely wanted to share with you guys. I wanted to let you know that my son is aware that I'm making this video, and the irony is that today is his birthday, and this is the first time I felt like recording since this happened. So the incident took place in early October. We were out looking for Halloween costumes, and I said let's go, because what winds up happening is that we wait too long and then whatever they want to be is sold out. So I said let's go, let's try to look for a costume. My youngest son picked something out really easy, really quick. He just threw something together. He was fine. My oldest, it was a little more complicated because he wanted to be a specific thing and we were having trouble finding it. So we wound up at the mall, and at first I said when I was going to film this I wasn't going to say the name of the store, but I actually going to say the name of the store. And what prompted me to do this, because I know how brands are, trying to protect brands and, you know, think in the future, things like that. But what made me want to say the brand, because when I was watching TikTok, I started seeing different videos with different people having incidences at this department store, and it's getting out of hand. So I just want you guys going into the holiday season just to be more aware, and you know, or parents out there to have these conversations with your children, because I didn't think that this was a conversation I needed to have. So if I can get through this quickly, I just want to give you some tips and tricks as well at the end, so that this doesn't happen to you. So long story short, we go to Target. We were in Target here in the Bronx, and we were shopping around. I actually bumped into my cousin and her daughter, and the kids wanted to go to the toy section. So my cousin allowed them to go, and they were back there, and my oldest was supervising them. So when I kind of saw this, I was shopping around. I had separated from them, and I was shopping around. When I realized this, I had a foreboding feeling something wasn't right, and so I went back there to check, because in my mind I didn't know what was to come, but in my mind it was focused on my little niecey poo. Like I had to make sure she was straight, because my oldest, he watches his younger brother, but adding 2 young children and you know how they could be, I just was worried. So not knowing that, my feelings was up, my antennas was up, but it was just for the wrong thing. So long story short, I go to purchase and I'll go to make my purchase, and one of my items was missing a tag. I called one of the employees over to help, and he said to my son something to the effect like, you look fast, it might be easier for you to just go get the item versus me looking it up. I didn't like that, and I didn't like it because I felt like it was bad customer service. But I let it, pushed it to the side. And I asked my son if he was comfortable doing that. He said fine. He went to go get the item, which was a shirt. So as I'm ringing, he's not back. And I'm just like, this is taking too long. I text him, what's taking you so long? He tells me he's with a worker, his words, and they're helping me find it. I said fine. So I'm waiting. It dawns on me, I purchased the item previously. So I call a different worker over, like, to help me to like get the item number out of my receipts. Did that. So now I try to FaceTime my son. My son rejects my FaceTime, and I'm just like, okay, wait. Now I'm annoyed, because not only it's taking too long, now I'm annoyed because he didn't answer my call. So I'm waiting. I'm like, what's going on? He's like, sorry, I'm with the worker. He's helping me find my costume, whatever. I check out. I'm standing there waiting. So finally he calls me. He sounds upset. And so I couldn't quite understand what he was saying. So he passes the phone. Now, mind you, my son is 14. He's 15 today. So 15. But at the time he was 14. So he passes the phone to work, and she introduces herself to me, and she's telling me how she's trying to see if the guy is still in the store, and they're trying to get his money back. So she passes the phone over to someone who introduces themselves to me as the head of security. Now, I don't know what my son was doing, because this part of the story is not very clear, but the guy says my son was frantic. So I was like, well, I'm at the front of the store, send him up to me. And he's like, no, I think it's best if you come back here. So I'm like, where are you? They tell me. I go to the back. I'm upset. So when they're telling me he's gotten scammed out of money, I automatically go. And I'm sorry, not my best moment, but I get back there and I'm like, what's going on? How did this happen? He's a little Sloan tear coming down, and he's like, explain it to me from what I can gather, because to this day, he is so upset. We have yet to really go play by play. I've had a talk with him, a conversation with him about it, and from what he relayed to others and just been relayed back to me, and basically on what the staff were telling me, the guy approached my son while he was looking for the shirts. I don't know if he was running or bouncing. I don't know what about my son said, hey, approach him. So what is not clear is that I doubt that he seriously is an employee or was an employee. My family advised me to go back to the store, but I am upset. I don't feel like this is something that I could handle and stay even killed. So I haven't gone back, but I just wanted to share it with you guys so that you don't experience something like this. But from what I can gather, he approaches my son, asks him if he needed help finding something. My son tells him. Now, how they get to the costume, I don't know. But that part is, I put on my son, because I told him, and which I said in the moment, that you were supposed to do what I asked you to do. You were supposed to do what you were told to do. And when you deviate from that, you leave room for things like this or bad things to happen. So that in itself is a lesson right there. So, but he is a victim. I'm not going to victim blame or shame, because this grown man approached my young son pretending to be an employee of this store, which I'm going to go with, he was pretending to be an employee of this store, and he offered him help. So they're helping. I never saw the shirt, never had the shirt. He didn't have the shirt when I approached, so I don't know how it went from that to the costume. So they go over to the costume section, because he was in the apparel department. The costume department's on the other side of the store, seasonal, other side of the store. They go over there, and he's pretending to help my son look for this costume, which they don't even sell, which is when, again, I was kind of going off on my son, like, why? I have the app. You could have just asked me. I could have just ordered it, and they were telling me to like kind of calm down. Like, I had told them on the phone, I'm like, well, this is a life lesson. And I guess they repeated the same thing. Like, it's a life lesson. You learn, and you're just grateful that you walked away with your health and you walked away with your life, because if anything could have happened, this person, which is what I said to him when I came, I'm like, this man could have dragged you up out of this store. You don't know an employee when you see one, and so, they were saying, well, it's okay. He's a good kid. It's all right. I'm like, I noticed he was crying. I'm like, what are you crying for? And they're like, no, don't cry. It's okay. I can read the room. So I felt like maybe I was making it worse, or I was overreacting. So I dialed it back. I got quiet and I let them speak. But I had to convey to him in front of them, because what I didn't understand is if he opened his wallet and the guy snatched the money in. This part, I don't. To me, it just like he finessed him. Like, it sounded like he said, well, I'm going to go to the back and look for it or whatever like that, but I need the money. Like, give me the money. How they got to $35, I don't know if that's all the money my son had. I don't know if that's what he told him it was. I don't know. But it's took the $35, and he got so happy. He had a bag with him of his personal items, like plastic bag. He took the money and just left the store. Went with the money, and so left my son back there. Now I don't know, my son was spazzing, screaming, while I don't know what he was doing. That they felt the security needed to come, and that they needed to have me come to the back. But that's the story. So I expressed in front of him. I pointed out all the card machines. I'm like, you have a card. All these cards over here, these card machines. I said to them, what's in that? Would you guys ever insist that an employee, that a customer pay you in cash? Would you ever make that insistence? And they all said no. So I'm like, why would you give somebody money, especially since you don't have anything in your hand? You don't give anybody anything without them delivering the product. You don't even have a product in your hand. And so he was like, I just was trying to help. And he just crying. He's like, I just wanted to help. I just wanted to help you. I just wanted to, help you, because you're always doing everything. You're always paying for everything. You're always doing so much for me. And the heart just went, Guys, I love my son. He's a sweetheart. He's a sweet, smart, child who feels like they feel like he did something very stupid. And I don't feel like he did something stupid. I feel like he was preyed upon and he's a victim, and that's a terrible thing. And my heart just breaks for my son. I feel so, he was devastated. When we left, I told him, don't feel bad. Like, it's not his fault. He's the bad guy. He did a bad thing, not you. He is, you know, I called him a piece of shit. I said a couple of things like, you know, like, this person is the scum of the earth, because it's bad enough you're scamming. It's bad enough you're doing things like this, but you would do this to a child that makes you lower than low, and there's a special place in hell for people like that, I believe. You know, I definitely believe in a hard day's work and just working and doing honorable things for money. You know, there's ways to make money everywhere we go with hiring. Everywhere has a sign. You can actually work there and make a decent I think they're paying like 16, 17 on Target right now, like decent living, you know, and not have to do things like this, especially to children. So my son is really hurt. I'm hurt. Like, it hurt me. Like, I couldn't, like, I had so many things to like film. I couldn't. I just haven't felt like in the mood. I was really upset. I'm talking to everybody I know about it, you know, just to let them know and be advised that there's people out there like this, which is what I want you guys to understand and go and have foresight going into the holiday season. And these are my kind of tips and tricks, because I want to wrap this video up. Okay, like I told him, one, employees, unless it's a small mom and pop, but a big store like that, they're not going to insist that you pay cash. One, because card is king right now, not really cash. And unless the machines are really down or they glitching, and even then I just wouldn't suggest it. Just come back, unless it's food, formula, diapers, something you need desperately, like, no. And you need to be rung up. I'm sure this person didn't go through the motions of ringing him up. I want to believe that this was not an employee. So that's one. Thing number two, most stores, especially if it's a major chain, big store like this, their employees either wear uniforms or they have them wear specific color. Like Target, they wear red. So yeah, they always will have a name tag. Every retailer I work for, they make you wear a name tag that has that store's name on it with your name on it at all times, so that you can easily identify and say, Khadijah did this. Khadijah gave me bad service. Khadijah gave me excellent service. Khadijah said Khadijah. So they can put that on it. That's my name, sorry. You know, so they can know the person's easily identifiable. So you need to look for those type of things. They usually have like a handset or some type of device. So if they're telling you they have something, make them look it up. Like, it usually looks like a cell phone. It's usually a TC, depending on the brand, but like a cell phone. It looks like a cell phone, but they're actually checking the inventory, and you can watch them. You can scan, they'll scan, it'll flash, but it also on the screen will say that particular store's name somewhere, identifying that this is from this store. This is where you're located. You should know where you're at. Like, no, that's on you, know what store you're in, and then the name, and that this is an employee. Those are things to identify. Some wear vests or things like that, but these are things to let you know that this is actually an employee, and that this person works for this place that they are representing. And it's okay to say no, you don't need help. Don't feel pressured to actually engage with somebody if you don't want to or don't necessarily need to, but politely, because, you know, some of these stores, they put these people up to, you know, a certain amount of people they need to greet, certain amount of things they need to sell. So just be aware that, like I said, I saw TikToks where people were getting followed around Target. Like, this was happening in different cities and different places, followed. And one of the TikToks that I saw, the guy actually was wearing a red shirt so that he can appear to be an employee. Also, I want you to know, like, most stores, you're not allowed to have personal items. So an employee is not going to have like a plastic bag. Like, not going to have a plastic bag. You're not going to be on your cell phone. You're not going to be wearing jackets, especially we're in New York. We're entering into the colder season. So an employee is probably going to have like maybe a sweater on, but they're not going to have a jacket. They're not going to have personal items like their cell phone, because that stuff is not allowed. So even if they have it, you're not really just going to be on it like, hey, da da da. They're not That's not allowed. Not gonna have food or beverage or anything like that on the floor. Not allowed. So yes, it's any person who has like shop their own shopping bags. Why would they have that? Why would they be in there with those type of things? So look out for that. You know, and look out for them interacting with other people. Like if they're gonna ring you, they should be ringing you on the register. You should be able to see your total, everything coming up. Someone who's not an employee is not gonna have a login, and someone who is an employee probably won't risk their job doing something stupid like that, because you can easily say, hey, run back the camera, I was on this register, I was here, and this is what happened. So yes, guys, just be aware, because it's the holiday season. All of us are out shopping, and we want to have a good time, and I just want to keep it as peaceful as possible. And I'm just so hurt and distraught that this happened to my son. I want to thank you so very much for watching. If you have any tips and tricks, you know, as well, any advice, leave it down below. And yes, guys, be safe out there. Mask up still, and you know, social distance and all that good stuff. All right, guys, later.